Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another episode of Challenge or Spectate, and yes, this is a main video of the day. So before we get into like the actual commentary, I do have to say why, and hopefully you guys don't mind. It is kind of for a health issue. So basically, I've been experiencing a problem for the last 6 months, which has been involving pressure in my head. Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment, got prescribed medication that they think I have something called chronic sinusitis, which is a sinus infection, basically, to a certain degree. Pengu with a gifted sub, thank you much, Pengu. And basically, the medication that I've been prescribed, it does have side effects that make you drowsy, and I am very much experiencing those. I did say to the Twitch chat, and we kind of had a conversation about it, that I have not been to the actual doctors physically, because it was a telephone appointment, since the weight loss, and it's now about £60 worth of weight loss. So they might have overprescribed me, thinking of like the dosage that I need may have been higher because of my old weight, and they don't know my new weight. There's a chance, and that's why I'm so drowsy right now. But I have tried to play League of Legends twice already today, and I'm just out of it. Like, I cannot concentrate enough to like play well and do a video. So what I decided, and hopefully again you guys are okay with it, again it is because of my health and stuff. Today's main video at least is going to be a replay commentary. Tonight's second video might be a PvE game that I have on Jace. It might not be the best quality game, but it's testing Jace and stuff like that. So that's probably tonight's second video. And then tomorrow, maybe I'll be back recording and like getting a proper live commentary for you guys. But just a fair warning, it might be another replay game. Just in case, you know, again, a lot of people normally take days off when they're feeling pretty bad. I'm still streaming, I'm still making content because I really do care about making sure there's 2 videos a day every single day. Yes, I am a crazy person, but, you know, I like making the content. And we will get into it because obviously I want to make a good video here, but I just thought I'd explain that fully. But, anyway, Evelynn. So why are we covering Evelynn again? Well, I will say we're actually on a different server. We're actually on EU Northeast at the moment. We're not on EU West. I was actually doing a League and Chill episode that didn't, again, go very well. And I had a look at the rank 1 player on EU Northeast. We're going to cover one of their games as well. I'm going to record that one after this one. This player, they're a challenger, but I don't know exactly where in challenger. But I noticed this player's Evelynn in a performance of the rank 1 player's games. And Evelynn is quite a controversial pick at the moment in solo queue as a whole, and I'll just say as well, Pengu, have a good night, dude. But she's a fairly controversial pick. Her damage, I would say. Well, I think there's 2 main problems with Evelynn. 3. Okay, no, there's 3 main problems with Evelynn. First, her damage, right? Her damage is insane. So we might even see that this game, that her damage is one-shot worthy pretty early into the game, even without her ultimate, which obviously is an execute that can execute many players. You know, I have seen Evelynn's get a triple kill with her ultimate. It's like, oh, okay. So that's one problem. The damage is crazy. Number 2, stealth, obviously. Meanwhile, a play is happening. Evelynn caught out, getting absolutely bursted, instantly goes down to the nice Thresh play, to be honest, and now Leona is caught out too. Kai'Sa's going to make her way, isn't probably going to help, and Elysin with a Lucian hunting down the kill, and Thresh actually picks it up, which is a small mistake. So yes, stealth is, I think, a problem that some people have in the game, and I personally am not a big fan of it. Yes, I used to be known for Rengar top, so I know to some people that's controversial, but that was 5 years ago. You can change your opinion in 5 years. I'm just not a massive fan of stealth, at least anymore. I never feel like I've been outskilled by a stealth champion if I just, like, get one shot, right? Like, Evelynn just kind of waddles up to somebody, basically flicks them, and they get one shot, and they're just standing there like, oh, I'm dead. Okay. So there's that. And then the third one is her regen. So her regen is mental. Like, she has a Warmog's passive basically inbuilt to her kit, like, and I think it only activates when she's stealthed from memory. But yeah, so Demon Shade restores 26 health per second when below a certain amount of health. Meanwhile, top lane, Fiora nearly dies. Evelynn now going to make the way into lane. Don't think they'll have the damage to instantly kill the Malphite, but he should go down with some time. He's flashing away. Fiora is going to hold out the W probably, and Malphite knows that. And I don't think Fiora is actually going to pick up an assist unless she actually goes helps again. She's nearly dying to minions, and Malphite is going to do his best to have a great escape here. What can Fiora do? She's going to go for it and does actually pick up the kill. And that probably would have been better, really, for Malphite to give the kill to Evelynn, I would say. Like, in his pure 1v1, a Fiora can snowball against a Malphite if she beats him to his armor. So, like, if Fiora needs high damage before Malphite gets too much armor, that it just doesn't matter. But giving a kill to Fiora is going to help the Fiora, obviously. But also worth noting, the rank 1 player, by the way, that we will be doing a spectate of, I think we're going to watch Kassadin, is the mid laner. So it's Kayle mid. So this Kayle mid, by the way, is currently the rank 1 EU Northeast player. And yeah, they're playing Kayle mid. Kayle mid has become a bit more popular, and I think I know why. So in top lane, Kayle actually can be really punished. I play Kayle. My win rate on her is actually pretty good on my main account. I've played against Kayles, and a lot of top laners can bully a Kayle very effectively. Darius, even Gangplank, Shen, all have a stronger early game and can really, like really just stop a Kayle doing anything in the early game. Mid lane, at least from my experience, mages, because they are scaling champions as well, they have less like AD and base damage and stuff. They can't punish a Kayle a lot in the early game, or not as much as top laners can. And it gives Kayle a better early game. Like right now, Orianna as a champion is not bad at laning and doing a little bit of poke and bullying. The Kayle's hardly behind. In top lane, she'd be half farm by now. So that's why I think Kayle mid is actually becoming quite popular, is it's giving Kayle a easier early game. So, yeah. And obviously when she hits level 6, she actually gets ranged nowadays, which then allows her to properly start farming, especially for a challenger player. And obviously, if you look at the Kayle's build, I know obviously we're not doing a Kayle video, but she's got that longsword early, which is going to be helping to her last hits. So Evelynn now has hit level 6, so what you'll expect is the gameplay of Evelynn, even though she has been involved in 1 kill, will suddenly start to turn a lot more aggressive. She's hit 6, she's now behind the target in mid lane, popping the stealth. She doesn't actually land, unfortunately, the charm, but she gets the flash, which is technically a successful gank. So that means she can come back to mid lane within the next 5 minutes, and Orianna is once again subject to a gank. Now they're going top lane. So far from hitting 6, she hasn't done much farming. She is looking to counter jungle here. Well, by the way, Lee Sin did just get Dragon. And what you are seeing, by the way, in the jungle at least, Lee Sin right now with 100% kill participation. Early game jungler, his damage does fall off, but Lee Sin always has good utility. With Evelynn, again, the weakness of Evelynn, even though she has many strengths, is, yeah, her early game is technically quite weak, or it's supposed to be quite weak. Really nice ult dodge. So that ult, if you're like, what the hell? She literally did that just to dodge the Lee Sin Q. That's why she did that. Meanwhile, bot lane losing. Kai'Sa going down. Leona's also going to go down. So bot get a double kill. So this game is looking pretty bad. Red team losing it by about 1,500 gold already in the early game by, you know, not even 9 minutes into it. They've got the first Infernal Dragon in the game. They are ahead by 3 kills. So you'd be probably, you would be a bit worried in this, like going, oh god, we are getting behind. But you have a Fiora, amazing scaling champion. Even with a Malphite, the armor man himself, Fiora can kill a Malphite late. And reminding everybody very quickly here, gank potentially coming in, 1v1 in mid lane. Does seem that Evelynn has somewhat been, well, maybe predicted that she was coming, but Orianna now dropping the ball, reminding everybody that Evelynn already got the kill off, and she actually popped the cleanse early because, once again, the Evelynn actually missed her Q. But does do a bit of damage to the Orianna, and that will just help the Kayle a little bit in lane. But you've got a Fiora. Outscales the Malphite in pure 1v1. Outscales pretty much most things in a pure 1v1. Lee Sin does fall off compared to an Evelynn. Yeah, in utility, if Lee Sin gets a good insect kick, he can do things with that. But Evelynn does outscale a Lee Sin in that carry potential, which is technically what Lee Sin, wants to do. Mid lane, Kayle, weirdly, yes, not really a mid laner, but now becoming a mid laner. Kayle does outscale an Orianna in most respects. The only thing that is if this Orianna hit a 5-man wombo combo ultimate with Malphite, obviously Kayle can't really match that. but that's also going to be quite hard to do in a challenger game. And then bot lane, well, Kai'Sa also does outscale a Lucian. So red team got to hold on to this game as much as they can. They're losing early. They might even give up the next dragon, but scaling is arguably on their side. So that's what you got to do. And that's why I've always said to people, why have I gone off early game champions? Because if the early game goes bad, at least in your mind you can go, we scale better. If you're playing an early game champion and the early game goes bad, then you're like, oh great, I'm useless. So that sometimes isn't the healthiest thing. But obviously early game champions do have their place for very aggressive players. But yeah. Bot lane die again though, looking for a gank in mid lane. And what is interesting to me, by the way, with now a dead Orianna, basically gets one shot. The Evelynn isn't looking for a perfect charm. She goes for the charm and then instantly does damage without landing the actual charm effect. I'm guessing because when she presses W on somebody, no matter if she gets the charm or not, it probably does bonus damage or whatever on the target at that point, and she just doesn't feel like she needs the actual charm itself to get the kill. But that was a lot of damage, and that's my point. Already, she has one completed item, and that Orianna just went poof. And the Kayle obviously did help, but her damage wouldn't have been basically anything. Lee Sin with the new dragon skin was looking for the Evelynn, doesn't find her though, and she does stealth, and she does get away. So that's a good Rift Herald take by the Evelynn. Continuing the farm, you can see junglers right now both on 80 farm each, keeping it very high in farm. And top lane, big play happening. Lee Sin does go down. Sorry, I missed that. But yeah, Fiora dies to the Lee Sin gank and Malphite play. Which isn't great, but it does happen. You know, as long as you're not technically dying to 1v1s as a player, that's not too bad. You don't want to die in general, but sometimes you can't help dying to a gank. Malphite now potentially in trouble. There's the charm. She waits for it this time. Whoa! Look at the damage, dude! That's a Malphite. Just got annihilated by the Evelynn. Crazy. And he flashed, but Evelynn, her E and everything is, you know, it follows the champion, so he couldn't get away. So there's that. So someone said if it slows if you break charm early. So there you go. So she doesn't feel like she actually needs the charm. She's just, I just need the slow. I have enough damage that the slow will do. Which is quite confident, I would say, in the Evelynn. She is now, if you look at her build, Jesus. So she's got a runic, and she now has a needlessly large rod as her second purchase, which is pretty feisty, you could say. Bot lane looking maybe for a gank. Leona also coming down. Enemy bot lane have found themselves a Leona. Lucian unfortunately gets away. Lucian return damage. Evelynn flashes, gets the Lucian, just dies. Lee Sin now looking for the Evelynn. He hits his Q on a minion. Will Evelynn get away? Turning to a bit more damage. Leona engaging. Kai'Sa doing a bit backline damage. And that is probably going to be that. Leona does go down in the end to the Lee Sin Q. Kai'Sa potentially overstaying. Evelynn, by the way, watch the regen. Lee Sin does get not the kill. Orianna does, with then using Flash to get the kill. By the way, Evelynn at this time nearly dead. And now she's suddenly nearly not dead. And now the Lee Sin is in trouble because of... He just used W. Goes down. He used W to survive and then didn't have W to jump over the wall. Evelynn now in trouble, going to go for the engage, is probably going to die, and she does in the end. But that kill that she got on Lee Sin was purely allowed because of her regen passive. Why does an assassin have a regen passive? I don't know. But she does. And she nearly was dead, and then she was nearly full health. Because that's the thing. Leona weirdly engaging in a 1v3. She's a support that thinks that she's not a support. And she gives a free kill to the enemy team. And the enemy team get dragon. So once again, blue team advantage here. They get another dragon. They get more kills. And they are extending their gold lead. So the game itself, again, not looking too good for blue team in some cases. But others, if you kind of look deeper into the game, it's actually not that bad. So again, Fiora doing well, has now just completed a Ravenous Hydra, and Malphite weirdly has not rushed a Bramble. That to me is a really weird thing, that he's not gone Bramble early versus a Fiora, so that might bite him back in the butt. So there's that. Kayle roaming, by the way, bot lane does kill the Lucian, which is really nice. Secondly, jungling, obviously Evelynn doing well versus the Lee Sin, who's also doing well. But Evelynn, as we said earlier, does technically outscale. Orianna's doing well, but so is Kayle. And arguably, Kayle should not be this close to Orianna in farm at this stage in the game. Orianna finding the Evelynn, doing a bunch of damage, and nearly getting one shot does the Evelynn. And again, that's technically another weakness that Evelynn has. She is squishy. Having to pop the Rift Herald because it's probably going to run out. Is then regenning. Again, she was nearly dead and is now nearly full health again. She is full health again. Leona ultimate whiffs. They do have the Rift Herald, so they're probably going to try their best to get the Rift Herald to get here. But I'm going to be honest, it's going to be interesting if it even gets there. Probably not. Lee Sin making his way, and the Rift Herald dies, unfortunately, before the charge. The Kai'Sa's having a rough game, and that's the one area I'll say. So top died to a gank. Jungle's doing fine. Mid lane's doing fine. Bot lane is suffering. They're 0-7 combined them at 15 minutes, 16 minutes into the game. So that's not going well, but the rest isn't too bad. So I'm saying this game looks like a very sloppy challenger game. It does. Most replays that we watch look quite sloppy, to be honest, and that's kind of the thing that I like doing with these replays is so many people have challenger must be mechanically perfect and decision-making perfect. No, it's not at all. You know, it's solo queue. It's an imperfect place to play League of Legends. You're playing in your home. Your phone could be ringing. The dog could be barking. The door could knock. That's life, and that's what solo queue is, and also the human element of it. Everybody right now is probably not tryharding, literally, and even though it's a challenger game, it's not like their job, like a pro match, is on the line for this specific solo queue match, you know? So you've also got to think of that. Lucian gets one shot without a charm or ultimate used by Evelynn. Oh, she went death cap second. Ah, that's why Lucian got one shot without anything basically used. Evelynn used EQ and he died. I think Fiora landed 1 Q as well. So that might have been like 250 damage from Fiora, the rest of it from Evelynn. Evelynn damage. Will she go the Magi, by the way? Most likely. Evelynn now coming with the Lee Sin. Malphite ultimate. Oh, snap! Really nice play by both. Oh, he dies instantly. Evelynn and Fiora really played that nicely. Fiora blocked the Malphite ultimate with the W riposte and then stunned the Malphite with the riposte. Evelynn dodged the Malphite ultimate with her ultimate herself and then re-engaged to get the kill on the Malphite. Really good. Still, this Malphite, he really, by the way, needs to buy a Bramble. Like, really badly. But he's not, which is really weird for a challenger game. So, Kai'Sa, by the way, got a kill, which is good for recovery. Andane, thank you so much, dude, for 22 months of Twitch Prime sub. Much appreciate. Fiora making her escape, by the way, in top lane to the enemy bot lane. Good that she didn't die. And it'll be interesting to see what Fiora actually does. Is she going Triforce or is she going to go Black Cleaver? Black Cleaver wouldn't be surprising because, again, she's against a Malphite, but never mind. She is going for the Triforce, which is higher carry potential. And Evelynn now completes her tier 2 boots and now also has an amp tome. I am, to be honest, a bit surprised that she hasn't gone Magi's yet. Technically, she hadn't needed to because there's no point upgrading really to Magi's, I've always found, until you've got to like 9-10 stats of the ring, Dark Seal, sorry. But there are some people out there that even for Evelynn, that Magi's is a common item on the champion, that they might just not like Magi's. There are some players out there that love Magi's that we buying it basically every single game, which obviously is very questionable. But it just depends who the player is. I wouldn't be surprised if she does buy a Magi's though, because I think she probably should. But she's currently 621. Gold-wise, we haven't checked. She's on 8.3 thousand gold. She's actually nearly 1,000 gold ahead of the Lee Sin. Enemy team all grouping for this dragon. Evelynn doing a bit of damage just gets absolutely owned. So again, she engages by herself, is going to get punished for that. That was a bit of a weird engage. And enemy team most likely will get themselves another dragon. And that's been really the big weakness of the Evelynn so far is objectives, well, dragons. She's had both Rift Heralds, which is good. The first Rift Herald obviously wasn't used effectively. Second one, we'll see if it was. But yeah, that was a questionable engage. Again, she was engaging on also to a Malphite. And yeah, he has no magic resist, but he's still quite tanky, surprisingly. Kayle will escape up in top lane. I think she just got the Scuttle Crab there, and Evelynn will now respawn. But worth knowing, if she did have Medjai's there. That would have been bad because she just lost stacks, and whenever you're losing stacks on Medjai's, it's literally losing gold effectiveness. So, you know, that's a thing. Engaged by Leona, looking for it. Kai'Sa now engaging as well. Lee Sin getting a kill. Kayle getting 1 kill as well. Kai'Sa, whoa! Evelynn damage onto the Lee Sin will get him. And the enemy team does all go down. Instant Rift Herald pop by Evelynn. With then the Fiora that's already around in the jungle. Orianna out of position. Malphite out of position, arguably. And that actually is probably going to be a Baron for red team. Fiora should run up. Orianna may have actually gone back. If she went back to go defend, then this is definitely a Baron for red team. And that is a really nice turn. So, Leona engage into Kayle damage, who is now scaling as level 14. Kai'Sa played that quite well too. And Evelynn got a really insane execute on the Lee Sin. And free Baron, baby. Like, just like that, you know. And that's what I would say. Challenger spectates on any server. It can be Korea, it can be EU West, it can be EU Northeast. One thing that you can probably always notice is very clear decisions of, like, when to do Baron. Like, oh, we got those 2 kills, or we got those 3 kills. Okay, instantly go Baron. When you're playing in any other rating, including even rating that I'm in, it's a lot more hesitant. That you're like, oh, should we do Baron? And then you're kind of deciding as a team. You take a little bit too long, and that deciding, and then you start the Baron, but you start it late. That gives the enemy team enough time to then get to the Baron again and kill you. So it's that decisiveness that I think makes actually quite a big difference the higher rating you go. But there's that. So Evelynn, by the way, with her build now, has picked herself up a Blasting Wand with then a Fiendish, which, again, it's always weird to remember items off the top of your head. Might be a Banshees, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. But also reminding everybody, new items will be coming very soon. And I know I said it in the Darius episode, but I really don't want to downplay. You're going to have to learn, and we all are, we're going to have to learn League of Legends again. As weird as that sounds. Yeah, mechanically it's the same. But so much of League of Legends, so much of it, are items. Item strength, item build, item power spikes, synergize with items. So much of it is items. Meanwhile, Evelynn engages. Look at that! No charm. No ultimate. Ultimate was used, but Orianna was already dead. That's just mental damage. Oh, she will go down. Does the Orianna. Enemy team, though, do get a pick. Sorry, on the Kayle. Fiora being left in top lane, which is a bit weird. Enemy pushing mid, but you're just letting a Fiora break into your base. That's weird decision making. Enemy team getting engaged on. Evelynn going to just look for a little pick on the Thresh, with then the Kai'Sa nearly going down. Evelynn will pick up that kill. And yeah, you just left the Fiora getting the Ib. Like, what's that about? What red team should do, by the way, right now is chase them in the base. Or chase them in the territory, sorry. Evelynn with the charm. Will she land it on the Lee Sin? Doesn't land it so far. Lee Sin will get away with the bonus movement speed from the Scuttle Crab. Evelynn going to take an alternate route to the Fiora. Lee Sin kicks the Fiora away, which means he doesn't have kick to get rid of the Evelynn, but he will survive with the W away from Malphite. But yeah, high aggression now. So the game has turned. Gold lead is now for red team, even though, you know, blue team has got 3 dragons. It's just what happens. That one play in mid lane to the Baron to tower objectives, voila, the game has turned. And also, as we mentioned a few times, red team does naturally outscale blue. What we'd be wanting to see now is dragon. So far, dragons have not gone well for red. So will Evelynn and red team actually contest this dragon? I would presume they should, and they would, because now they have the strength, they have the scaling, and you don't really want to give a soul to anyone, really. If you can deny the soul, that's a big thing, because souls give scaling, give strength, etc. The only thing I would say is dragon will be coming up very soon. Kayle is still in mid by herself. Enemy team might actually be engaging on that, and I think... No, okay, they didn't use Malphite armor, and Fiora's still bot, so... Are they going to even get... Is red team actually going to get together enough here to actually contest this dragon? Because Fiora doesn't seem really interested in helping. But here is the dragon. Evelynn is nearby. Can she get it? She does steal it, which is huge. She actually ults away. Does a lot of damage, actually. Will go down, but worth it. Kai'Sa going down as well. So a wipe is happening for blue. Weirdly, again, as I said, the Kayle did not get involved. The Fiora didn't get involved. But... because of the Evelynn Dragon Steal, that actually was worth it. Those 3 deaths, that means they get another bot lane inhib that Fiora just got by herself. And they got the dragon denying the Dragon Soul. So that steal was massive for Evelynn. Because if that didn't go well, like, hey, we got bot lane inhib, but the enemy team of Dragon Soul then for the rest of the game, they now don't. That's pretty huge. And now the next dragon, that will be up in 6 minutes, I think, it's giving 6 or 5 or 6 more minutes, more scaling to red team, who again outscales blue. So next time, Fiora and Kayle, look at the damage from Fiora. It gives them more time to the next dragon. Red team should easily be able to absolutely wipe blue at the dragon. So that honestly, that steal was massive. Really big. So that's good to see from the Evelynn. Still no Medjai's purchase, by the way. Maybe she just wasn't feeling it this game because she has had a higher deaths than sometimes an Evelynn would want. And yes, 4 deaths is weird in saying, but 4 deaths is high deaths for an Evelynn. If an Evelynn's doing well, at least, and this Evelynn obviously is doing well. Farm-wise, still pretty high. Is going to go for this pick, finds the Thresh, he tries to get away. Evelynn unfortunately whiffs the execute, but the Thresh is low. Lee Sin goes in, Malphite goes in. High damage output, but no follow-up damage. Kayle flashing aggressively will get that kill, and also the Malphite goes down to the Kai'Sa. Meanwhile, Fiora just bot lane. She was just fighting with somebody, but I don't know who. And that most likely is going to be the game, more or less. So this Evelynn playing really well. Can the enemy team stop it? Lucian damage is going to be a little bit there, and Evelynn is very squishy, so she can't just like casually be okay with getting attacked really by a Lucian or an Orianna. Orianna was looking aggressive, is going to kill the Evelynn again. Red team doing a little bit of cleaning, and Lucian, by the way, killed the Fiora somewhere there. I don't even saw what happened, but there you go. Yeah, the Orianna, I think, did give up a little bit in the end, or maybe she was baiting the Evelynn at least. But the Evelynn played really well. Gold-wise, 12.5k gold. Nearly the most gold in the game. Fiora did a little bit more. Kayle did a little bit more. But Lucian actually having the most. So that does also make the point is, yes, Lucian can have a good game, but top lane difference was very big. The scaling obviously kind of started to take, you know, be in red team's favor. But I also want to just see one thing. Because of the top lane difference, right? Did Malphite buy Bramble? At all? No. He literally didn't buy the Fiora must counter item. That if you're against a Fiora or an Aatrox, especially as Malphite, buy a Bramble first. He didn't even buy it at all. That's very weird. Like, very weird. But overall, that's Evelynn. You know, as we said, her strengths, insane damage. Stealth is obviously there as well. She can sneak up on people and you don't expect. And the regen. Like, the regen, to me, that's maybe the big thing that I don't think she should have in her kit. To be honest, like, her damage, okay, it's an assassin. Okay, she's a stealth champion, fair enough. But why is it that she can stealth to somebody, one-shot them, be very low health from that, and then within 10 seconds, she can be full health again? That doesn't feel very healthy, at least to me. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys enjoyed, yeah, please do throw a like on it. Again, apologies that this is most likely a main video of the day, just with how I'm feeling. And I could feel like I was getting energy with doing the commentary at least. But when like I have to play and commentate at the same time, it just is a bit too much with how I'm feeling right now. But hopefully you guys didn't mind. If you didn't, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.